Well, everybody, I'm finally here, and welcome once again to another evening right here at the Sports Crib. As you can see, we have all our little commercial stuff down there in the bottom. And if you want to subscribe and donate here on our YouTube channel, we welcome. And all things go toward our prizes that we have for our fantasy leagues and to keep us coming every Wednesday night. So thank you very much. I see all the guys are in the crib here. I see Dave's down there. Dave, how you doing this evening?
Doing okay. Hello, James.
Ah, doing great. Another year older and deeper in debt. I see Reggie's here worldwide. How you doing worldwide?
I am doing very good, man. Very happy to be here and discuss the sports with you guys here on this fine Wednesday afternoon.
And our newly fiance here.
Congratulations are in order there.
Thanks, guys.
Mr. Hayes. Congratulations, my friend.
He still blushes. Look at here, guys.
I have a confession to make.
Uh-oh.
She is within listening distance in the kitchen.
Oh, wow, man. We should have yelled that congratulations a little bit louder. We'll be a little bit louder next time there, Donald. We'll be a little bit louder there for you there, Mr. Hayes. Absolutely.
All right.
Okay. Already in the kitchen, huh, Don? All right. I hear you.
Goodness gracious. Yeah, man. Don't say that.
She's keeping me fat and healthy.
Yeah, I know, those Mexican mamas, boy. You're right.
We call that a keeper, is what we call that. We call that a
keeper. So, guys, I know we have another difference in weather here, but things seem to be getting a little bit back to normal. It was 28 in Pittsburgh today, but I hear there's sleet on the ground. Dave, what are you doing down there in Maryland?
34 degrees, but they're expecting a mix of rain, sleet, and snow.
Boy, I remember those nights. I remember those days. Boy, having to get up in the morning and get out to the restaurant early in the morning. Oh, man. I don't miss them at all, Dave. Don, how are you doing down there in Texas?
High today was 77.
Nice.
Okay.
Light breeze, partly cloudy. Perfect day to play golf. So if I wasn't working, that would be my destination, I'm sure.
Reggie, what's happening in Atlanta there?
It's a balmy 69 degrees down here. I had to contemplate whether I was going to leave my house today or not. I looked outside. It's about roughly pushing 70. It's not really enough to really get me out. But, I'll survive. I'm hoping tomorrow's another day, man. Hoping we can get to 70 tomorrow.
Yeah, well, we didn't get quite to 70 today. We only got to 64, but it was a pretty nice day. Wind blowing off the ocean. It wasn't bad at all. But we have a couple of things. I know, Dave, you don't talk a lot of basketball, but a couple of blockbuster trades here. And I was wondering, one of them really affects Don and the guys. Don, you never hear anything about the Spurs until all of a sudden, boom, there it is. Everything's quiet, it's like an IUD. It's
an IUD, yes. I wouldn't ever quite heard it described like that before.
IUD?
It's delicious, man.
So, Don, I know everybody's talking about, the Lakers and that, but we'll talk about them later. Let's talk about what happened down there with the Spurs. You guys got a point guard to go with the Rookie of the Year. This young kid, Wembayega, he's tearing it up down there. And now you have Fox to go with him, somebody to really distribute the ball. instead of arthritic Chris Paul. That's
arthritic.
Well, anyway, opinions. But Don, what's happening down there in San Diego? You guys, I see his first game was tonight, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah, he's already hit over 20 points. So
wow.
He's averaging I think 24 a game, and
24, 25.
Yeah, and he's going to probably surpass that tonight. So if you look at Spurs' record, they're right at 500. I think they're 27, 29, something like that. And they'll come out to these big leads and then just squander it. They run out of gas. They miss shots. And everyone's saying if we only had a point guard who is a playmaker, and hey, the basketball gods answered our prayers, and now we got a point guard who's making making points. I think his first shot tonight was a 3. And so I mean, it's the Spurs Nation's happy. Wemby's going to get his points, but if they can just play some defense and keep these other teams from doing these come from behind wins, I can't tell you how many times the Spurs were up at the beginning of the fourth quarter by double digits, 10, 11 points, and they lose by 5. I mean, it's been a story all year. So we'll see if this trade works out the other way. Hopefully it does.
Yeah, well, you certainly got a talent there, Reggie. And then I'm not sure how much you're thinking about it. I mean, none of it really affected your team that much. As a matter of fact, it might have made things a little bit better for your division there. But you did have Zach LaVine. He's going to Golden State, and then the big news, which I don't think anybody
Zach LaVine's going to Sacramento, right? Or going to the Kings, I thought.
Okay. He's going to the Sacramento Kings. Yeah. So we have Luka that is now a Laker.
Mm-hmm.
And we have AD going to the Mavericks. And I don't know, it seems like as soon as AD came, Kyrie got his extension.
Of course, he's gonna get it now.
And so, Reggie, what did you think about Luka joining the Lakers? And had you heard any rumors, down there or anything? Because that was, I don't know, that was kept under wraps, kind of like Pop. I mean, that was, Texas is becoming the land of secrets down there. All of a sudden, boom.
Mm-hmm. I think it's for one, San Antonio fans got to be happy getting De'Aaron Fox. That's a nice get for San Antonio. I like De'Aaron Fox, and he's a guy that's used to playing with Sabonis, used to playing with a big guy. So I think that you got a nice get there. I got to look at the Chris Paul because he is on my fantasy team, and now I am worried about him. So I do need to look into my fantasy team, see what I need to do with Chris Paul, because obviously his play time will be affected. When it comes to the Luka situation, like anybody else, I mean, the people involved didn't know. So if Luka didn't know, how the rest of us are going to know? Like even they didn't know they were being traded. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. I think immediately on the court, it's not as bad on the court decision as people are making it out to be. But the problem is that Luka is just a global superstar who's 25, and it's just nonsensical. It's nonsensical for you to trade a guy like that. So it reeks to me as either ownership not wanting to pay, because this is definitely an ownership decision. We know general managers don't have the power to trade generational talent like that. They might not even be around the next year. So they don't have the power. This is an ownership move to have Luka traded. Maybe they didn't want to pay him the $350, which is, I get it. $70 million a year, guys, is steep. $70 million a year is a lot of freaking money. So I get it. But if you're looking at Luka's resume, if a guy like that with that resume doesn't warrant the 70, then no human being will ever warrant the 70 because of what his resume was up until that point. So I think it's unexpected. Maybe they can make lemonade out of lemons there in Dallas, but I feel like Nico's backed himself into a corner and they have to win a championship. They don't win a championship because they were literally in the championship last year. similar situation as when Jared Goff and Stafford got traded for each other, with Goff having just gone to the Super Bowl. That means that the Rams had to win the Super Bowl in order to make that really pay off for them. And that's kind of a similar situation here with the Mavs. They were literally just in the finals with Luka. If you don't win it with AD, then this doesn't make any sense. And to me, it still doesn't make any sense. After about a week here, or going to a 4 or 5 days here. And another thing to this, guys, too, that I don't know if we're really paying attention to, is I forgot, guys, that this was even Super Bowl week this week. Look at the NBA being able to take a little bit of the wind out of the NFL sails here, which you would have never thought that would have been possible with the way that people were spelling the death knell for the NBA. Nobody's watching it. It's down 50, 60%. All of a sudden, Luka gets traded in the middle of Saturday night, and I'm up for a week straight talking about this stuff. Are you kidding me? I've been up. I mean, it's been complete Luka talk for almost an entire week, and forgot we got a game going on here Sunday. It's crazy.
Yeah. Some of the excuses coming out of Dallas, they didn't want a point guard weighing 280, but Zion's playing.
He took you to the finals with weighing that. Like the crazy thing is, guys, in a result-driven league or in a result-driven situation, if a guy, I don't care if a guy's 350, if he is getting me results currently, he took me to the finals. He's averaging 35. He's only right behind Jordan in a lot of statistical categories. What more do you want? I can say that. Do I wish that you look like Adonis out there with those same statistics? Absolutely. I wish that was the case. The problem is you have the statistics, though. You have the number. You have the hard part. You've actually done it. The things that they're saying they wish you could do, would they wish a healthier person who doesn't have those accolades? It's weird because it's hard to do better than Luka has done up to this point.
Okay,
so pretty much a 25-year-old Hall of Famer at this point, which is incredible.
So does that mean that the Lakers adding him to LeBron and the rest, does that mean that the Lakers have to get to a championship? I mean, they did make the playoffs last year, and
I think they do, but they were more.
They won the what's that thing they had?
The cup. They won a cup last year, the inaugural NBA Cup situation they won last year. I don't think they're in the same situation though, because the Mavs were just there, and the Mavs are the one who gave away a 25-year-old player. The onus is on you now. Like you're the one who did something that's most people would not recommend, is what the Mavs did. The Lakers just took the 25-year-old generational talent. I don't see how it's on them. Like they did what 29 other teams wish they could do.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Dave, you got anything that you might want to contribute to this? I know
that was such a huge PR move. I even heard about it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Dave, man, that Dave has the fact that Dave has anything to say about it means that the NBA has done its job.
So I had to ask Sue about it, and according to Sue, she said, to her the trade favored the Lakers, but she pointed out that the Lakers haven't won a championship. They haven't been in the finals in 5 years, I think, and so she was saying that hey, the Lakers are traditionally one of the largest markets in the NBA. And so it's a great PR move. And maybe if LA gets back into the playoffs, it's just a launching board. So great move by the NBA. I just wanted to note that Jay in the comments, he mentioned, I think to somebody's point about the Mavs, Jay says the Mavs don't have to win a championship. The Mavs have to do better than LA in order for the trade to make sense for them. And then he also mentioned that Reg had made a great point about the trade capturing the news cycle. So yeah, great move. And whoever the PR team is, that they did a nice job.
And to that point, let me go to Jay's point here, because I do think that the Mavs have. I mean, I don't really know if that's really true, because the Mavs have already done better than LA. The Mavs were already doing better than LA. They were literally in a championship last year. Their current situation is better than LA's, and you just decided to jeopardize that by giving up the core piece that got you into that better position in LA. So it'd be interesting to see if you stay there this year. And to that, another thing too, guys, AD is a beast. Like I think some of this is overshadowing what Anthony Davis is because he's not maybe the generational player that Luka's considered to be. But let's not disrespect AD. He's a beast. Him and Kyrie are going to wreak havoc. It's going to be a great defensive team. I don't think that from a basketball decision, I don't think it's total trash. I just don't know why they did it, really.
Yeah, well, and I think San Antonio's stock has improved. I mean, last year, Don, we're talking about Pop retiring, and now he's got something new.
Man, Pop, man, he keeps getting that life breathed back into that career, man, right? He's going to be around another 10 years. Hey, and they held on to Castle, too. They wanted Castle, I heard, and I don't think they gave up Castle in that deal. I got to look at that Fox deal, but I don't think they gave up Castle.
No, we kept him.
Nice. What a move. What a move. What is that? Is that RC? Is he still there? What a move to keep.
Yeah, RC, yes.
To keep Castle because they definitely wanted Castle in that deal, I heard.
Yeah. So, Dave, do we have a Sue's Corner tonight?
We do. It's not about the NBA though.
Oh, okay. Well,
Sue says since the Super Bowl is Sunday, I thought we should have some trivia. I know that there's a ton of it out there. The first Super Bowl was in 1967 when Green Bay beat Kansas City, who happens to be going for a three-peat now.
Nice.
It's the same year that Jimi Hendrix released Are You Experienced? The Beatles released the Sgt. Pepper Lonely Hearts Club Band album. And the American Basketball League was launched. And Muhammad Ali decided not to go into the Army. So that's what was happening when the first Super Bowl was played. Makes you feel old, doesn't it? The cost of some items for comparison. So this is for in today's Super Bowl, a Super Bowl ad costs $8 million for 30 seconds. Nick Sirianni makes $7 million a year. The Lombardi Trophy costs $50,000. And the Super Bowl rings average $50,000 a piece. So, count that. And usually they give it out to almost everybody that's in the organization. So that's a lot of bling being thrown around there. Then she goes back to 1967. Super Bowl tickets cost for the first game were $6 to $12. And these are for good seats, according to Sue, as opposed to the bottom line prices of $3,500 right now in order to be sitting up in the cheap seats. And,
wow.
I mentioned that today's Super Bowl ads are $8 million for 30 seconds. Back then, the Super Bowl ads cost $40,000. And I think that was for the whole commercial. So big difference showing the success of the NFL. Then Sue continues a quick quiz. So get your thinking caps on, guys. Which of these guys never won a Super Bowl MVP? Nick Foles, Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning, or Brett Favre?
I'm going to say Foles.
No, Foles won one with Philly, didn't he?
Yeah, I'm going to say Foles. I think Foles won that one with Philly with the Philly special.
So Don's out.
I'm out.
What were the other three?
Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning, and Brett Favre.
I'm going to say, I want to say,
I'm going to say Aaron Rodgers.
Jay's out, but don't look at the comments. You'll know.
Okay. So I wanted to say,
like James, I can see you peeking there.
Well, I'm already.
Wait. Did you say? Wait, he said Jay's out. He didn't say James out. Did you hear James say his, Dave? Because I don't know if you heard James.
No, I didn't hear James say his. What did James say?
I said Aaron Rodgers.
Wrong.
Okay. Mine was going to be Brett Favre.
You got it, Brett Favre. He went with the 96 Packers.
I knew it was one of the Packers. I just wouldn't,
So here's
between Brett Favre and Peyton Manning because I know that one in 15, he didn't get that one. He would have to get that other one.
I left
Okay.
my ayahuasca bias. I heard me there.
So the last question, just two of them she gave us. What Philadelphia head coach never took the Eagles to a Super Bowl? Buddy Ryan, Andy Reid, Dick Vermeil, or Doug Peterson?
Buddy Ryan.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Buddy Ryan too because they kept getting beat by Dallas.
I'm
James?
gonna say Peterson.
Come on, James.
James. It was Buddy Ryan. And I love that we were living in Philly at that time, and Sue was actually working with Dick Vermeil's daughter-in-law.
I don't know if Buddy Ryan
Yeah.
did Buddy Ryan ever get to a Super Bowl as a coach. I think he went as a coordinator, right? I don't
With
know
the
if he ever went as a coach.
Bears, not as a head coach, but
Right,
with the
because that was the
Bears,
one where he got
yeah.
lifted on with they both got lifted on the
the 46
yeah,
defense they had.
yeah, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he never went as a head coach. So that's Sue's quarter. She gave us a little bit of a challenge.
Nice. I like the quizzes, man. I had to actually think just now. That was incredible. I haven't done that in a while.
Ask Sue what a dozen eggs cost back then. No.
Yeah, now Jay was asking if the Oilers never made it, and not while they were in Houston.
No, not
That Earl Campbell. That's an Earl Campbell Oilers, I want to say.
No, we always had to go through Pittsburgh. We never got through Pittsburgh, so
Yeah,
a lot of teams.
He was going to knock down the door, but never
yeah.
did.
But Bum Phillips got fired. No shit. But Bum Phillips got fired for losing the AFC Championship game. And,
Wow.
and one year, and James and David know this. Renfro caught that pass. That was a touchdown. I remember that shit. Remember?
Yeah,
There was
I just remember there was the one post-game interview, and Bum Phillips was being interviewed, and then all of a sudden Dan Pastorini and a reporter, I think, crashed through the little barrier, like almost right on their laps, and Buddy Ryan's like, "What the hell's going on here?" Apparently, Pastorini didn't like the question he was getting from the reporter.
Oh,
we used to call him Pastorini. We used to call him Pastor Weenie.
Yeah,
Wow.
because he wore the original flak jacket from getting banged up by the Steelers.
He didn't deserve it. He's actually a pretty good quarterback. I don't know what he didn't deserve all the hate, but hey.
One last basketball question before we move on, guys. And I like Jimmy Butler. I like the intensity that he brings to a team, and I like that he's really dedicated to his craft. But he doesn't seem to know how to get along with people. I mean, we've seen, he was in Philadelphia. He didn't like it there. He's went to Miami. Now all of a sudden, he's disillusioned with Pat Riley and the boys, and now he wants to go to the Suns. There are rumors now that we're going to see Kevin Durant. Don, you're a guy from Texas there. We're going to see him back perhaps in a Golden State uniform.
That's not true. But we will see Jimmy Butler in a Golden State uniform because that came down today. He's headed there.
He's going. Jimmy Butler is going to team up with Draymond Green. Are you kidding me? You saw that, Reggie?
Mm-hmm. And then Wiggins. So I can tell you that the trade it was a trade for Wiggins. It was a multi-team trade, if I'm not mistaken. Wiggins. So it's Golden State gets Jimmy Butler. Detroit gets Lindy Waters, Josh Richardson. Miami gets Andrew Wiggins, PJ Tucker, Golden State Warriors 2025 first round pick, which is a 1 through 10 protected. Utah gets Dennis Schroeder. Toronto gets Kyle Anderson. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 team trade. 5-team trade. And I don't know if any of those teams got better. I'm not sure who's better. We might. It's like a 5-team trade, and it just seems like it reshuffles the deck.
I'm just waiting to see when Draymond and Jimmy square off.
That's what everybody's waiting for, that first practice. Everybody's waiting.
Yeah, that's
first practice, man.
Oh my goodness. Oh. I want to see Clay's gone. Steph's a little too little to step in between there. I don't know.
Funny to see, man. Interesting to see how that all works out, to be honest with you.
Yes, it is. Oh my God. Okay. So I'm gonna be back following the Warriors again. Oh my goodness. All right, guys, let's get off here into the NFL. Reggie, I know we only have you around for a limited time, so we're going to try to get through this as quick as possible and get some of your predictions here. But we have Eli is up for first ballot Hall of Fame. What do you guys think? Is Eli a first-time first ballot Hall of Famer?
Well, he did win 2 Super Bowls. He was MVP. He played how many years? 13, 14 years in league?
12 or 13?
No, about 16 years is what I'm looking at here. 16 years.
16. Okay, that's off a couple years. I think he deserves it, yeah.
First ballot? Okay. What do you think, dear Dave? First ballot?
Well, if he just took his regular season record, I'd say no. He got 4 Pro Bowls. The most significant thing he led in the NFL was he led the NFL in interceptions 3 different years. But I mean, the most important game is the Super Bowl, and he was a 2-time Super Bowl MVP. Now, again, that's a vote, but still, to get his team through the playoffs, beating the undefeated Patriots, he might have a shot. Unless they put too much emphasis on his regular season performance. But I mean, how many people have 2 Super Bowl MVPs?
But I don't know. Tyreek was this should have been the MVP, or at least his helmet. Yeah. What do you think there, Reggie?
His regular season record is literally 500s, 117 and 117, right down the middle. The guy's a 500 guy, right? The what gets it for me, 2 Super Bowls, what gets it for me to first ballot, definitively Hall of Famer, first ballot, second ballot, but definitively Hall of Famer to me is that Iron Man streak. I love availability in sports. I love it. And I will, if it comes down to moments like this, where you have a chance to get into the Hall of Fame, and we look at your stats are kind of mad, but we're thinking about letting you in. I'm always going to let that be the tiebreaker for me. If you were available for your team as much as Eli was available for his team during his tenure, then that will be the tiebreaker. That's going to get me yes for me, because he literally played almost every game he could play, which is so rare in sports. And he wasn't trash. Transformed the team, took them, won them those 2 Super Bowls. I think at the end of the day, we look at a career like this. If you had told somebody at the beginning of their career they were going to have a career like this, I think they'd be happy with it. So that's a yes for me.
Okay. All right. So we got 2 yeses or maybe, and I don't know, guys.
I don't know. It's fair. He's literally a 500 quarterback. So I don't want. If somebody says I don't know, that's an absolute fair assessment.
Yeah. I mean,
but he's got 2 chips also. Let's not be crazy. He's got 2 chips.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like you said, it's hard. I think it depends upon the class that he goes with and who he's up against.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But
I
like you
think
said,
I think we can all agree he'll be there eventually, right? Maybe not first
oh
round.
yeah.
I do think he'll be there
Yeah,
eventually.
yeah. This was your first ballot, first time Hall of Fame. That was all this was about. But there's a couple of things came up with the commissioner here, and I'm going to start with Dave here because this is one of his favorite topics. But the commissioner says that there's a possibility that since we have these international games, there's a possibility that we might have a Super Bowl that's not going to be on American soil. That's one thing to think about. And Dave, the commissioner says they're still eyeing an 18-game schedule. So, Dave, I'm going to let you get your rant off.
All right. Well, you know where I'm coming from. I mean, and they're already putting commercials out. They do have a commercial European fans cheering, NFL games. So they're determined to try to spread the game overseas. My issue with it are the flight times, and I believe that they've announced an international game in Melbourne, Australia.
Yeah.
Man.
Okay, so it's already bad enough flying to England, which is about a 6 to 8 hour flight, depending on the wind turns, and that's already messing up players in terms of jet lag. Flying from nonstop from Los Angeles, assuming it's the Rams or the Chargers, nonstop from Los Angeles to Melbourne, 16 hours in the air on a nonstop. How are you going to recover in time for the next game? I've flown to Sydney before from the East Coast, and it was brutal.
You have to have like 3 days off just to recover from the flights.
Exactly. So, with the international games, I'm not a big fan. If they expand to a team, even if it's a team in London, it's going to be hard to schedule, and it's going to be hard on teams that have to travel there. With the 18-game season, again, I'll say it. They're going to have to do one of two things. They're of course going to put in more buys, but they're going to have to water down the game further, and they're going to have less hitting. Years ago, we used to complain when they used to have a Pro Bowl, which we didn't even talk about before because they don't even play a football game anymore. But towards the end of the time that they were playing Pro Bowl games, people would complain, well, it's a fake game. It's not. And it was kind of like, well, watch what they're doing in that Pro Bowl because that's what's coming to the regular season. And if they go to an 18-season game, in order for them to try to cut down injuries, because you're going to have even more injuries now, well, then they're going to have to cut down the hitting in some way. They're going to have to do something to significantly impact it. And maybe it's going to appear like the 70-something to 63 point flag football game that they played last week. So, I mean, to me, I firmly believe that if they want to keep the integrity of the game intact, not even talking about the officiating, but talking about the number of games, they should go back to a 16-game regular season, have 2 to 3 bye weeks so that you can still get revenue. Even though you're playing less games, you're still getting revenue each of those bye weeks. And then I would encourage a little bit of space between the final regular season game and the playoff game. Because the problem is, and if you go to an 18-game season, it's going to be even worse. Throughout the season, you're losing stars. And so the more games you play, well, then the more watered down those rosters are going to become playoff time. So, I know that it's not going to go in that direction, but as long as I have the floor, that's what I'm going to advocate for. And if you go to a 16-game season with additional buys in there, maybe you can alleviate the problems with the four days between games on the Thursday night games and have less injuries. And you're definitely going to have less injuries that way. And I'm not going to listen to a single thing the NFL talks about injuries as long as they're adding more games.
But now, Don, the Eagles are in the Super Bowl, and their bye week was week 5. Most of their players are back, and they're going into the Super Bowl relatively injury-free.
Yeah,
Kansas City's had their week. Was it their bye week 5 or week 6? And they're actually limping into the Super Bowl, going, along with Dave with the amount of injuries. But what's your thoughts here, Don?
well, so I'm going to kind of go back to the whole European thing. I think the NFL needs to go back and kind of follow that NFL Europe they had, and just have a European division. Have maybe 5 teams AFC, 5 teams NFC. Frankfurt has a stadium, Barcelona, Berlin, Rome, London, Dublin, maybe
And
Munich.
most of those cities had an NFL Europe team.
Exactly. And so
Right.
what you do, what you do is they play in Europe, and you televise, of course, but we'd be up at 3 in the morning watching that shit. But and then in the playoffs, then you start having the flights during the playoffs, going back and forth. Maybe you have a game where, like we have now, we have a game in London, you have a game in Dublin, game in Barcelona, whatever. But for the most part, the American team stay in America, Europe stays in Europe. And then if you want to include Mexico City, maybe
Canada.
Yeah, to Toronto, maybe. But that's not that big a deal. I mean, it's a shorter flight from Houston, Mexico City than it is from Houston to Los Angeles. So, I think that you're going to have to, if you're going to expand the number of games, you are going to have to add some bye weeks. How they do that, that's beyond my pay grade, but but they can figure it out. They're smart people.
Reggie.
On the international front, I don't really like the Super Bowl international situation because for one, it's just too popular here. The Super Bowl is still a massive get for any city that gets it here in the United States. I don't see why you would put that game if you had the same popularity as soccer worldwide, that I can understand a World Cup type format where you send it to different cities and have it performing in different cities, but that's just not the reality for American football. So right now, I don't see the point of having that particular game international. It's just people, even when that game's announced 5 years from now, cities get extremely excited about it. So I still would keep that local. When it comes to the 18-game schedule and player injuries, I can't feel more sorry for players than players feel for themselves. When it comes to these situations, they have a player association that negotiates these deals. They want more money and they like playing the games. No matter what I say, that's what they want. That's what they've shown they want. I could say, hey, we can give you less games, but it'll be less money, or we can give you more money, but it'll be more games. We know which one players are going to take. Players are going to take the more money to play the more games. I think to accommodate that, the multiple bye weeks, I don't think that's a bad idea. Maybe you increase the roster size to accommodate, maybe you add more players to accommodate playing more weeks, because there will definitely be more injuries because you're going to have more games. So maybe there are ways they can work that out if they go to that 18 game schedule. But I do feel like it's not like the players are wholly innocent in this. They have representation and they have a voice or how they want these things to go if they choose to.
Yeah, and I guess the other question is if they do expand overseas. Right now, there's 32 teams. How many teams should there be? 36.
Well, before I think
you start to spread the talent out. Then
the overseas league before, I think it had eight cities. I want to say in that NFL Europe. But hey, it's all about that dollar bill. So we'll see.
I think you at least accommodate all the American markets first. There's more American markets that want teams. I think you accommodate all those before you could actually establish an actual franchise somewhere, especially if it's just like a one-off. I mean, maybe Mexico City, from what Don is saying, makes more sense. Or these Toronto's as the Raptor model is shown in the NBA, shown it can work. Maybe something like that, in the future.
Well, they've been talking a lot about the Jaguars in London because of I guess the owner has a relationship there.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
and they're trying to do that. You can see that they play those London games every year, guys. I think they're trying to subconsciously establish the Jags as the London team by always putting them in those London games. I don't know if it's working, but I see.
Well, the Bills used to play up in Toronto every once in a while. They had a few home games up there.
Yeah.
Hey, just as an aside, you talk about Mexico. They do play American football in Mexico. There's a team out of Monterrey, high school team that will come up and play teams in Texas every so often. When I was doing the middle school, I had to go scout. That. So, I believe back in the '60s, a small college in Texas called Sol Ross State, out in Alpine, Texas. They played Monterrey Tech in Monterrey, Mexico.
Interesting.
And at the time, this is back before A&M and Texas built the 100,000 capacity stadiums, but they played like in front of 101,000 people. Little Sol Ross State, which is now Division III, non-scholarship.
Okay.
So and when the Cowboy, there's a lot of Cowboy fans in Mexico. I mean, that's part of being the Mexican is loving the Cowboys. So
yeah.
A lot of Steeler bars down there too.
No,
They
like
just
Cowboys,
have they have a new franchise in Mexico. It's the Steelers, and I think is it Domino's Pizza? I think it's some pizza chain, and then they have them merged together, little franchise.
Okay. Reggie, the banker says he's unsure of his future in Atlanta. But he says he's eyeing new life in the NFL. Reggie, does Kirk find new life, or is Atlanta going to take that bite? Well, he's already been paid, so.
No, I mean he should find new life. Like, look, his statistics aren't horrible as been made to believe. Like when he went out, he was like top 5 in passing when it went out, and it was his fumbles and his interceptions were the issues for Kirk. And unfortunately, the ultimate equalizer, as I like to call them, whether you're getting paid a lot of money, a little bit of money, whether you're playing in NFL, whether you're playing in NBA, turnovers will get you benched. It just is the fact of life. So that I have no sympathy for anybody who gets benched for turnovers, even if I like the rest of what you're doing. And that's kind of like what Kirk is. So I don't think that it should be over. When you look at some of the guys that are still in the league playing, it's hard for me to say that it should be over for him this year. I think he'll get an opportunity somewhere. I'm not sure who's going to give it to him, but he'll get an opportunity.
Did he lead the league in interceptions and fumbles?
Yeah, like he had them combined. That's what got him benched. You kidding me? Because otherwise, you got to look at his other stats. For his other stat to be good, you got to think about how bad you have to be on the other end. It was double digits. He was historically bad. And not only was he historically bad, at one point during the stretch, and I was letting him live during the stretch because he was playing a murderer's row of defenses in the Vikings, the Chargers, the Broncos. He played them like all in a row at one point, but he had more interceptions than he had touchdowns. It's unacceptable. The Raiders game was unacceptable, especially with a young guy sitting behind you back there. Willie Beeman type story here to get him this Sunday. You know what's bound to happen. But I don't think that Kirk's story is over here. I think that he can go somewhere and be better than somebody somewhere. It just depends on what the money looks like.
Yeah, well, hey, Pete seems to be collecting some old guys. We'll see here. As a matter of fact, Chip Kelly just became the Raiders' $6 million man.
You know what that means? That means that Raider defense better get ready to be out there on that field. Right? Remember what happened when he was up in Seattle? The defense was like, man, we're living on the field over here. Or when that was in Philly when he was there, they never got off the field.
Yeah, well, Chip is taking that national title that he got over there at Ohio State, and he's bringing it. He's bringing himself back. What do you think there, Dave? Chip back in the NFL?
Yeah, well, I guess Davis is kind of, they tried going with Antonio Pierce, who had been an acting head coach, and then they made him the head coach. The players had rallied around him, and then they kind of fell flat. So now they're going to experience. And I was looking at, so you have Chip Kelly. He has 34 years of coaching experience, 15 as a head coach in both college and the pros. Pete Carroll has 27 years of experience as a head coach. And then they have Marvin Lewis as the assistant head coach.
Wow,
He tacks
Marvin
on another
Lewis.
16 years as a head coach. So it's kind of like, I guess it didn't work with Antonio Pierce, who was like a young enough comer, an inexperienced coach. And now he's like oversteering, overcompensating, and bringing these guys in with all this head coaching experience. And I'm just wondering how that's going to mesh together.
Terribly if they don't bring in a quarterback. None of these guys play quarterback. So therein lies your problem. If you fix that problem, we can bring George Halas in here. Let's throw him on there, right? Unless you can fix the problem of quarterback, none of these guys matter. So let's see what they're going to do there. In my opinion, let's get that figured out.
Maybe Pete and Russell unite.
Yeah, that'd be interesting, right? A little reuniting there, in with a little storyline there. Russ goes out there for a little swan song.
What do you think, Don?
Chip Kelly, going back to work, that's good. That's a good time to pop some popcorn, put some extra butter on there. Maybe I'll start drinking again. I mean,
again. I never knew you stopped, Don. Goodness gracious.
Hey, this is sugar-free sparkling ice. All this time I thought I was drinking a beer. Nope. But yeah, I always like Chip Kelly, but I mean, he's just one of those guys that's kind of cringy, cringe-worthy to watch.
I'm with you guys here. I like popcorn too. I think I'm not gonna go back to drinking. I still got my root beer down there, but yeah.
I mean, $6 million's a lot, guys. $6 million. I mean, they wanted them. You really wanted them there for $6 million. I don't really know what that's about. I don't really know why. Why did you pay Chip Kelly $6 million? I don't understand it.
Well, in Sue's corner, she mentioned Nick Sirianni's making $7 million a year.
You're paying this guy close to what Nick's making. He's been to 2 Super Bowls. You're paying Chip Kelly close to what Sirianni's making. And you know what's crazy is that without a quarterback, Kelly doesn't matter anyway. So why overpay?
And he's not the head coach. He's the offensive coordinator. He's not the head coach.
Of who? Of who's at the quarterback? Of Gardner Minshew? Like you hired? Did you pay for a $6 million quarterback for Aiden O'Connell?
Yeah, they're rolling the bones there in Vegas, man. Right? I guess they're living up to the rep of the city.
They're hoping something comes through, man. They're hoping something comes through for that.
For $6 million, there's a quarterback. His name is Steve Austin. He used to be an astronaut, but he can run, he can throw, he has a great eye. He once tore the arm off a Sasquatch. For younger people, y'all, Reggie, $6 million man. That was Steve Austin.
$6 million man. Well, I get that. I'm not that young. I'm not that young. I do get it. I love some $6 million man. Sound effects. We'll be here all day. Yeah, there is. There it is. Yeah.
Here's another one for you. We have the running back, Devon O'Chain, saying that he disagrees with Tyreek about the Dolphins needing some dogs in order for them to compete. silly me, I'm thinking, that they need a reliable quarterback. That to me would be the top of their list. But Tua's fragility and his unreliability to me make him a liability. So, guys, I mean, am I the one that's crazy here? You don't need dogs. You need a dog handler.
Is that for me or who's that for?
Yeah, go ahead, Reg.
I mean, I kind of agree with A-Chain here. I mean, I don't know. He needs to maybe have been a little bit more specific. Like, what are you talking about? Because when you look at your team, you have your skill positions are pretty good to me. You have Mostert, A-Chan, Jonnu Smith's pretty good at the tight end position. You got Waddle. You got yourself. Your quarterback literally can put up 4,000 to 5,000 yards. These are all things that will be luxuries for other teams to have. You say you want more dogs. Maybe that means does it mean you want a left tackle? Does it mean you want a center? Does that mean you want a defensive end? You want a cornerback? You just got to be more specific as to what you're talking about. Because when you're a team that has an embarrassment of riches on one side of the ball and you're saying stuff like this, other teams are looking at you like, what I would rather have. I would just take the Jalen Waddle. I would just take him off your team and be very happy with just that, And so I think maybe if he'd been more specific, it would have helped. So what are you talking about?
Well, I would love Cowboys to switch offensive rosters with the Dolphins any day.
A lot of teams would, my friend. A lot of teams would.
Well, you know what we've talked a lot about was that Tua, how he does is how well the Dolphins are going to go. So he has 1 year that he's played 17 games, and so it may be that they need to be looking at somebody to take his place if he can't stay in the league, because some of the shots he's taken, I don't know how he can keep on coming back. And I think, Reg, you bring up a good point about, hey, clarify what do you mean by dogs, because no team can afford to rest on their previous year's roster. I mean, just with free agency and everything,
Kansas City doesn't even do that, by the way.
Yeah, well, nobody can, because everybody's going to be losing 10, 15 players through free agency, at times. And so you have to be constantly improving your roster. You can't rely on your previous year's roster. But I think it's a good point. What do you mean by dogs? What do you that would certainly help.
Yeah. I like you said, I think he needs to clarify what the dogs mean. But when you look at your quarterback constantly getting up off the ground and how fragile he is, I would think that maybe those dogs would have to come in the form of an offensive line. Maybe you just take Georgia's offensive line and just draft it. I don't know. It seems to have done well for the Eagles on both sides.
Yeah,
especially on defense. Just a word to management there. I do accept the finder's fee. But Reggie, can you stick around for the prop bets?
Yeah. I can get through this. We're good.
All right. So let's go into our prop bets here. And all of these, except for maybe the last one, that one's in favor of to celebrate Don's tremendous admiration for the recording artist. But we'll get down to that one. So let's start with let's start with the first one. Saquon Barkley is to have 50 plus yards. And for his longest rush, well, his longest run will be 50 plus yards, and the odds are on this. We're betting $100. So you're betting $100, and you'll get 350 plus your 100 back. So is this a good bet or not? Dave, did you get what was our? Well, we haven't gotten to them yet because the Super Bowl hasn't been played. Those are probably
So I just have it on the spreadsheet, just waiting.
Okay.
You're talking about last week's prop bets?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just have them on the spreadsheet, just waiting for next week.
Okay. I tried to make sure that I didn't repeat any of them. Uh, so
I don't think you did.
Saquon Barkley, 50 plus yards for his longest run. Don.
I think his longest run would be about 20, not 50.
Okay. You saving that $100. What do you say, Dave?
Yeah, I'm going to keep my bill in my wallet on that one. I'm saying no.
Reggie?
Hard to imagine against that Spags defense. He's gonna rip a 50-yarder. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say if he doesn't rip a 50-yarder.
Let's make it unanimous, guys.
Stingy.
Okay. Saquon will have a 100. Have a 20 plus yard rush in each quarter. So that would mean he would have to gain at least 80 yards, but that doesn't mean if he only gains 15 in the second quarter, and everybody's saying he's not going to have a 50-yarder, but you think he'll have a 20 yards rushing in each quarter, Don?
No. He'll have some 10, 12, 15, 20, but not in each. No, not 20 in each quarter. No. He'll get his chunks.
Don's tight with them Franklins, huh? Go ahead, Dave.
Hey, I got a wedding.
I'm keeping my money in my wallet. No.
Are you making this unanimous, Reggie?
So what's interesting is it says Saquon will or backup. Are they saying 20 yards in total rushing when you say that? Or you mean like 20 yards for one or 20 yards for the other? I'm kind of confused by that because if Saquon has 10 and his backup has 10, does that count as the 20?
Well, no. When we say backup, it would be okay. Wait, Saquon will. Let me look at that bet.
I thought it was one or the other. So if the backup makes 21 quarter and Barkley makes it another quarter, it's okay.
Okay,
right.
So not 20 yards basically rushing for the team, just 20 yards rushing per back.
Yeah, well,
basically.
Barkley
per back,
or
per quarter.
backup rush for 20 or more yards each quarter.
Each quarter.
Let me.
I mean, you could possibly have, like, say, for instance, you could have Gainwell. I'm assuming that's going to be his backup. You could have Gainwell gain 15 and Saquon gain 5.
Does that count as 20 for the quarter?
That's 20.
Yeah, so that's what I was getting at, Dave.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm getting at. If that's the case, then yes, I'm going to go for that. Yeah, I think that because that's basically asking if I think the Eagles will have 20 yards rushing per quarter. Basically, that's basically what you're asking me.
Yeah,
and that's a different question than Barkley having 20 yards.
Yeah, so it's basically if the Eagles have 20 yards rushing in each quarter is what it comes down to.
Right.
I'm going to take I'm going to say yes to that.
Yes.
But it can't be Jalen Hurts. It would have to be a back, one of the backs.
It has to be a back. It can't be Jalen Hurts.
I still think I would still take that. I like it more with Jalen Hurts for sure. but I still would take it. I'll take the Eagles to have in totality. I'll take them. I think they're more likely than not. I mean, because that's basically 80 yards on average. Rushing, they tend to do much better than that. So I would say yes, they will.
All right, so we got 3 no's and 1 yes.
No, two no's, James and Don, and 2 yes. I switched mine.
Okay. All right, then we'll go back to you, Reggie. 22 points scored in any quarter.
Man.
And that's 22 points total. That's not 22 points for one team.
Okay, so, man, that's possible. That's just only 11 per. You know what? I'm gonna try to wish this into round. Now, this even my disclaimer here. Let me go ahead and read my disclaimer now for anybody listening. I don't know what I'm talking about. So if you are listening to me speak these things to you, I will definitely tell you ahead of time when I don't know what I'm talking about. And in this particular case, when it comes to these prop bets and gambling, I'm not a gambler. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I do like to say it though. So I'm going to say yes because I hope that we get 22 points in the quarter. I'm trying to talk it into existence. You say yes.
I'm going to say no. What are you going to say, Don?
I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna be like Rage. I'm gonna live here, and you know what? It'll be in the third quarter.
Okay.
Wow, he's calling a shot there.
He's gonna call the quarter. Muhammad Ali prop bets here.
He just called a shot, man. It's
Babe
impressive.
Ruth called
that
a
happens,
shot.
man. Okay.
Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, you got to play to win, so I'm going to say yes. And Reggie, hey, you know the on these prop bets, the rule is don't say anything and then decide whether you're an expert after next week.
Oh, wow. I'm just way too forthcoming, man. That's my fault, man. I'm just too forthcoming.
Because then you might be the expert.
Right. I remember you told me before I did decent in 1 week. I texted you and I was surprised. You didn't tell me that I sucked. I was like, wow. And that was the week that I didn't come on, so I couldn't gloat about it. So
okay. 2 or more successful 2-point conversions. Don, this is a big one. You bet $100, you get $9.50 back plus your 100. What do you think here, Don?
Nah. Saving the money.
What are you doing, Dave?
I'm going to go yes. You know, this is the modern NFL. You know,
okay.
I'm going to go yes.
Okay. What are you going to go, Reggie?
I wish this question said 2 or more 4th down conversions. Then I would say yes, absolutely. 2-point conversions, I'm going to say no. I'm keeping my money here.
Yeah, that's a little too tempting. But here's a good one for you. Hunt and Pacheco combined for 3 or more TDs. Reggie, this pays $100, gets you 800. What do you think?
No. That means I gotta say that like rushing. There's 3 rushing touchdowns basically for the Chiefs. Chiefs have 3 rushing touchdowns
between the 2 of them. Now, you know,
it says combined touchdowns, or is it? I don't think it was rushing. It's either way.
Yeah, as long as they score 3 touchdowns. Underground.
Oh, so they can catch it. So I see what you're saying. So it can be pass or okay. I got you. Doesn't necessarily need to be just rushing touchdowns.
No.
Okay, that makes it a little bit more interesting. I get a little bit closer there, but I'm still going to say no.
Dave.
I'm going to say yes because that's an $800 payout. So I could, if I hit on that'll take care of a couple of the other ones I'm flagging on.
That makes your night right there, Dave. Pretty much, you hit that one, man.
What do you say? What do you say, Don?
You know what? I'm enjoying Dave's Greed Over Logic Club. Yeah. Yeah. I want that money.
Okay.
Yeah, man. It's $800 right there.
Well, while you guys, worry about that one, I think I'm going to put my 100 on this next one. Patrick Mahomes.
What did you say on Hunt and Pacheco?
Oh, I said no.
Okay.
In the no club.
Okay. So for the next one, I'm going to put my money down here. Patrick Mahomes rushes for 5+ yards in each quarter. And the payoff is 800 to 1.
Oh man, yeah, man. If I gotta save it, this is where I gotta go, right? Like, yeah, this is it for me too. If I'm gonna make that jump, this is where it's gotta be made.
Yeah,
he only gets to get 5. He can fall for 5 yards each quarter. So I'm going yes on this.
Yeah, I might take half and some money for this one. But go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Yeah.
What do you say, Don?
Sure, let's do it.
Okay. I'm gonna throw big temptations at you now. This bet pays $3,000 6,000 to 1. Patrick Mahomes will have a 400-plus yard passing game.
Nope. For me. I don't like that he can get 399 yards and I still would lose this bet. That would never sit right with me. So, no, I have to go no.
What do you say, Dave?
Yeah, Philly has pretty good defense. I'm going to say no.
I don't know. Philly's the secondary is what usually gets them in trouble. What do you think, Don?
No.
Yeah, I don't think he's got 3,000. Yeah,
I mean, 399 yards would be an amazing game. You wouldn't hit. Like, you kidding me? Like, no, that's incredible.
And each of these are $100 bet.
$100 bets.
Yep.
Okay. Dave, Kelsey will have 4+ catches in each half. So all he needs is 9.
If he does that, then the defensive coordinator for the Eagles has to be fired.
Yikes.
I'm going to say no.
Okay. What do you say, Reggie? This bet pays 500 to 1.
I mean, it's hard to match because he needs what? 8? He needs 8 catches or he needs 9 catches?
Well, he needs 4 catches.
He needs 8.
Each
He needs
half.
9. So he's gonna need 9, basically.
No. 8. He could have 4 in each half.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
If he can have 4 in each half, I mean, even those guys, that's not moving the meter a ton, to be honest with you. It's hard to imagine. Like I'm kind of with Dave here. Like, if you come out of this game, the Eagles have played them once in the Super Bowl, and you let Kelsey go off of all freaking people, then I think you would deserve to be fired after this game. Like, there's no way you can don't let Kelsey come out here and beat you. So I'm gonna go no to that.
We just said he had to have catches. We didn't say he had to have touchdowns. We didn't say they had to all be for
that's true.
positive yards.
That's true.
You know,
I think I gotta make somebody else. Somebody else has to catch the ball. Man, we're gonna one guy. We're sure not gonna let the catch the ball should be that guy.
No, as a matter of fact, I put Noah Gray in my fantasy. But anyway, Don, what do you think?
No.
No, okay. I'm going to say yes on that one, and for the next one, I'm going to say no. But the next one that I'm saying no on is that Kelsey will have 20+ receiving yards in each quarter. That means you got a tight end that's getting 800 yards, but on the other side, the odds are 5,000 to 1. Reggie.
No. I mean, I just don't think this isn't me like being against Travis Kelce. I just don't think the Eagles are the best defense. Why would you let, of all people, Travis Kelce beat you? You literally just played him like a couple years ago. I don't know why you would let Travis Kelce beat you. So, I'm just thinking this won't be that Travis Kelce game, you know. But watch him now go out and have 180 yards. It's going to be incredible. Like,
what do you say, Dave?
No. Same reason.
Don.
No. KC's leading receiver will be Xavier Worthy.
It would have to be somebody like that. Like, for me, like, I can live with that. I can't live with, come on, Kelsey, bro. I can't live with it.
Well,
I mean, especially the 20 per quarter. I can live with the 8 catches, the dink and dunk catches. I can live with that more than I can live with the 20 per quarter.
Because every time he catches a pass, I'm going to show Taylor Swift, and I'm going to throw my shoe at the TV screen. So
goodness.
Oh, Don, I got a good one coming up for you, boy.
I know. I read the mill. I know. It's coming. It's coming.
Mr. Scott, how are you doing this evening?
Pretty good, gentlemen. Glad to join you before this auspicious occasion and watch Merlin this weekend do his magic act.
Oh, okay, all right. I assume you're talking about Patrick, but guys, I do have a Missouri farmer coming on, so if the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, I am going to bring him on. He says they have nothing else to root for up there in Missouri anyway. But anyway,
I mean, I can believe that, man.
So, Mr. Scott, how's we've been asking everybody else. Are you still frozen in Minneapolis?
Well, yeah, it's about to get ready to be the deep freeze now. It's ready to get real. It's supposed to be a bunch of snow coming, and then it has the nerve to get really cold. Then they get really cold. So yeah, we'll be doing what we can to circumvent that. And I have a cousin that keeps calling me from Atlanta with weather reports as if I need that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, that sounds terrible up there. Man, goodness, I got a little cold with you even saying that just now. A little shiver.
Yeah, he called me. They were under a state of emergency in Atlanta. Got 1 inch of snow.
we were. That's a true story, by the way.
Schools is closed. Business is closed. Everybody shut down.
We're not prepared for inclement weather here in the A due to our tropical nature here.
Did you see the picture of Dave in Buffalo, Reggie?
Oh, we would have been closed for a month and a half, man. You kidding me? Like nothing would have been taking place in that way. Are you kidding me? Nothing. Stores would have been looted, raided. All the bread is gone.
Even Buffalo shut down for a day.
Yeah. Forget that. We're done for a week. We're out here.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's coming. Yeah.
Mr. Scott, we are doing our little prop bets here. And I'm going to let you get caught up with the fellows. We had the ones for last week, but these are some different ones here. So the first one is Saquon Barkley will have a run of 50-plus yards. And the odds are, all these are you bet 100 and you get back whatever. So the first one, you bet 100, you get back 350. Saquon Barkley will have a 50-plus yard run. That'll be his longest.
Boy, he's been really cutting up. I mean, so yeah, I think he's going to get a 50-yarder.
Yeah,
I think he'll get one longer. I'll go with the 50.
Yeah, that's the only one we want. So the next one is that Saquon or between him and his backup, whoever it is, they'll have 20-plus rushing yards in every quarter.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Okay. The next one is
Not that money.
Let's see. The next one is still we're still in the little boys here. 22 points to be scored in any quarter, Mr. Scott.
No. And I should just preface this. I should really found out what James King wanted. Then I could just go the other way. I could have made it very simple. Right?
Oh, okay. All right. Well, you'll get the last few with us. Well, okay. So you can tell him if you want, Dave.
On what your response was? James was a no on that one.
The next one, Mr. Scott, is there will be 2 or more successful 2-point conversions. The odds are 950 to 1.
Yeah, going for 2 seems to be flavor of the month. So yeah, I'll follow that cap.
All right. Okay, Mr. Scott. The next one is that Hunt and Pacheco will combine for 3 TDs or more. The odds are 800 to 1.
Hunt and Pacheco. Oh, 3 between them.
Yeah. Running, catching, tush, push, whatever.
Yeah, that's me and props. See, we don't really do much, in the real side. But yeah, I think they'll do it.
Okay. The next one, Mahomes rushes for 5 or more yards in every quarter. And the odds are 800 to 1.
No, I'll go a no on that.
Oh, see, I said yes. You okay? You went the opposite of that one, huh? Okay. The next one, Mr. Scott, is that Mahomes will have 400 yards or more passing. 399 doesn't win. 401 wins. The odds are 3,000 to 1.
It's a lot of money for that $100.
Yeah, no, he's not, because he doesn't have to get yardage to win. See, Merlin comes up with all kinds of things. The refs could be involved. I mean, so no.
Oh wow, here we go. Now
doesn't-
disrespect the man's talents.
He doesn't-
Now he's a bum. Like, right?
He doesn't need to roll up the points to win.
But everybody loves Tom Brady, right? Okay. All right. Okay. Okay, Mr. Scott. Kelsey will have 4 catches or more 4 catches in each half. Odds are 500 to 1.
4 in each half. He's been making a resurgence, and he's going to have his paramour there. Yeah, I'll take that.
Okay. Have we caught up yet?
No, one more. One more to catch up.
Okay, Mr. Scott, Kelsey will have 20 or more receiving yards in each quarter. The odds are 5,000 to 1.
20 or more. Ooh. No, I'll say no.
All right. So James, so far, Anthony has laid down $500. Cyber dollars, virtual dollars, I guess. James, you've only put down 200. Reggie's 300, Don's 300, and then I'm the big spender. I'm 600.
Wow, just throwing it around up there, man. I see. Big spender.
All right. Kelsey will score the first and last TD. The odds of this are 9,000 to 1. I'm going to say no.
You just throw your $100 away right now, right? I mean, just go ahead and throw it in the trash, man. I mean, I'm going to say no to that myself. Put me in the no column.
All right. What do you say, Dave?
No.
Don?
No, not going to happen.
Mr. Scott?
I have to go with no, too.
Okay. And Don, I'm going to save you for last on this one.
Hilarious.
Okay. Dave, I'm going to start with you here. Kelsey proposes to Taylor Swift after the Chiefs three-peat. $100.
Two things have to happen.
$100 will get you 278,000 to 1.
Man, that's. I mean, you just got to put it down for.
So,
I mean,
so 2 things have to happen. Like if the Eagles beat him and he proposes, you lost your money.
That's not what it says. It says after the Eagles three-peat. That's right.
He could only possibly love her with a 3rd championship, man. That's what that's saying.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, they've sweetened that pot enough. I'm going to take a flyer. I'm going to say yes.
It's like a lottery ticket, a $100 lottery ticket.
That pot, man.
Oh, okay. So, what are you saying, Dave?
I said, yeah.
Okay. What are you saying, Reggie?
I don't know, man. That's
the NFL would love this, man.
No, they definitely would love it, and that would be nice. That would be nice. I mean, I actually like the odds of this more than I like the odds of him scoring the first and last touchdown. Like that, that seems like ridiculous, and this seems more plausible to me that this could possibly happen. And then when I'm looking at here's the thing. I don't let the greed take over till six figures hits on that other end, guys. What I'm doing, I'm an investor. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at my $100 versus that 278,000. Come on, guys. You know I'm putting that 100 down. I don't know if that's going to hit or not, but it's a lottery ticket at this point. If he proposes and I can hit for six figures, I got to at least take an opportunity at this. And I'm with Dave here, just because it's six figures over there. Of course, I'm putting my $100 down.
I'm just thinking, what if you're a family member of Miss Swift or Kelsey, and you know that he's going to propose? You're like, hey, I'm going out to the sports book.
Yeah, man. Lay it down, man. Let everybody know, right? You got to let everybody know right now.
Hey, pretend like you're a congressman. What the hell?
I'm going to go put me down 10 or $15 here. Get you. It's pretty penny here, guys, for a few bucks,
What do you say, Mr. Scott?
Well, that's what I was saying. Could I just put 10?
That's true. If I'm gonna, I'd rather lose 10 than 100.
Now these are all one minimum of 100 now.
Well, then I'll say no. I mean, the whole thing could be a sham. We don't know. The whole thing could really be, publicity stunt. They're both in on it. Who knows?
They are both in on it. I do think that either way.
We just said he proposed. Now, we never said they had to go through the marriage and nothing like that. We just said that he proposed. Maybe he'll propose on this one and marry her when they forfeit.
Wow.
I mean, you figure it's already consummated. So.
Well, yeah, I don't think that's going to stop her from wearing a white wedding dress, but we'll see. Anyway.
I bet she's always on top.
Oh no, he's a big boy. He's a big boy, Don. What do you think? So I'm leaving this up to you here, Don.
Nah, he's not gonna do it.
He's not gonna do it.
No.
Okay, all right.
James, what was you?
I'm like Reggie. Hey, I'm putting down $100. I'm figuring to get mine back as soon as Patrick Mahomes gains 20 yards, 5 yards every quarter. I'm good.
Hey, so I have a question, kind of a point of contention. So the bet says he's going to propose after they three-peat.
After they three-peat.
What if Philly wins and he still proposes?
Well,
I brought that up. No good.
That's not the bet.
Good, right.
Okay,
they have to win and he has to propose. That's why you get those six figures over there, man.
Yeah. It says after the Chiefs three-peat.
Okay.
That's the key thing there after the Chiefs three-peat. So the Eagles after become the NFC's best team through fearless roster renovation. Is it a Philly thing, or do you think that there's other teams that will make this kind of a leap next year? What do you think, Reg? Your Falcons might have to be one.
I mean, I think every team hopes that they could, but they've been a pretty good team for a while. And when you look at, you could call Philly an overnight success, but if you look back the last 20 years, they've been a pretty good team for like the last 20 years. They've had a pretty good team. So I don't know that they're really an overnight success, kind of like Deion's Colorado Buffalo situation would have been more of like an overnight. I think Philly's had continuing excellence. Maybe because I think Roseman's been there about 20 years. And if I'm not mistaken, Roseman's been pretty good that entire time he's been there for the most part. So I think every team hopes to take team hopes to be as good as Philly, but I don't necessarily think they're taking a leap if that. I don't know if that's right.
What do you think, Dave? As I mentioned, at the bye week, Philly was 2-2. They finished the season 14-3.
Well, I mean,
that's
Kansas
opposite
City,
of what they did last year.
Yeah.
Kansas City didn't look like they were going to do anything at the beginning of the year till the officials stepped in. So
there's the side bets right there.
That's hilarious.
I would say, I mean, I think it's tough for these teams to hold it together after they win the Super Bowl. Free agency, people are going after the money. If anybody has a decent game, whether they're any good or not. I think of Larry Brown from the Dallas Cowboys. Most people probably haven't even heard of him, but
I have.
he made a big payday off of one game and never really did anything else. So but it's a good organization. The Eagles there's a reason they've been relevant for the last few years, and it's a pretty good organization. So I think that they'll continue to be a contender. I don't know that I necessarily see them back in the Super Bowl next year.
Okay. What's your thoughts there, Mr. Scott?
The quarterback seems to be getting better and better. I mean, he kind of just seems to still be on this upward trend, and I think Kansas City is going to get the three-peat, but I think there can be a rematch. I mean, I just think Kansas City, they just figure out a way with Reed, and look at their roster. I mean, they don't even really have a star running back, star receivers, star defenders. So this could just be it could be a repeat. I think Philly's the best in the NFC. So I think that I don't see anybody who could knock them off.
Don, what do you think? Tyreek thought it was going to be greener pastures on the other side.
Well, you're right. Both teams are great organizations. They have great front offices. Kansas City just get it done. Whereas Philly has been very competitive, very tough. But they kind of, I'm not saying they got lucky, but damn, Detroit just had that meltdown. I'm too bad Demetrius in here. We could talk about
it. It sure is.
But yeah, so you make great plays, but sometimes there's a lot of luck involved. Like Philly got lucky that Detroit had the meltdown, and as it pointed out, Kansas City's got luck with some questionable calls that went their way. Josh Allen made that first down, and they called it. He didn't make it, and then even the play before that, the receiver looked to me like he crossed the first down marker. So I mean, there's some stuff going on, but we'll see what happens on Sunday. It's going to be a humdinger.
A humdinger.
Humdinger. That's a southern. I think humdinger. That's a southern word. I think humdinger.
Yeah, man. We're familiar in these parts with terminology like that. Absolutely.
All right, Reggie. The Chiefs. They come off their a 1.5 point favorite. If you bet on the Chiefs, you got to bet $120 to get 100. You bet on the Eagles, you bet 100, you get 100 back. The over-under is 48.5. Talk to me, Reg.
All right, I'm going to take the over on the 48.5. I'm going to take the over on that. This sucks because this is a heart head pick. You know what I mean? My heart with Jalen Hurts and Devontae, and that's who I'm going to have a rooting interest for because I love Alabama. So I'm going to be rooting for my Bama brethren. But I never bet against number 15. Told you guys on the show. I've said on the show. I don't bet against Mahomes, and I'm not betting against Mahomes today. Not betting against him. It's more of that. It's more of me just not betting against the Chiefs. I can't bet against 15. I just can't do it.
A lot of Georgia boys on that Eagle defensive line too, right? Not just Alabama.
Yeah, I have appreciation for my Georgia boys out there, and I will be rooting for them. But 15's on the other side. I can't. Until somebody beats them, I'm not betting against them.
All right. You want to give us your final thoughts now, Reg?
Yeah, absolutely. Have we found who voted against Ichiro? Because I remember telling you before that I was going to donate my next 4 finals to Ichiro, and this is my first of that 4 to start. I will be donating my next 3 to Ichiro. Until that writer is found, I will be speaking out. That's all I have to say. But, yes, thank you. Enjoy Super Bowl, guys. And hopefully be back here next week with you guys. Have a good night, fellas.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah.
Reg.
Hey, Reggie, I'll text you last week's props so that you can answer last week's.
All right, sounds good.
Take care.
Sounds good. All right, see you.
Okay. Don,
Yes.
who
My
you
final
got?
thoughts? You got my
No.
final thoughts?
No, we got Chi. You got to tell us who you're gonna win first. You taking the Chiefs -1.5, the Eagles plus one and a half.
I'm gonna take the Chiefs in the points.
Okay,
I don't want to, but I'm taking Chiefs in the points.
okay, all right.
Over under?
What's the over under?
No, he said he's taking the points, so you're taking the Eagles, and the over under is 48.5. Don.
48. I'll go over.
All right, okay,
Yeah, Chiefs in the over. There you go.
all right. Don, you want to give us your final thoughts?
Oh, final thoughts. Well, while we were going through the show, Spurs won by 1 point with 2 seconds left, and Fox had just 24 points as his debut. So Spurs are going at it, and so I do want to talk about Tim. Tim played football at the University of Texas in the 70s. He's defensive end, 5'11", weighed 215 pounds. Had the sack record at UT, and until just recently. So when I say the sack record, he had more sacks than guys like Shane Jonette, more sacks than like Casey Hampton, more sacks than Tim Crowder. The guy had a lot of sacks. He was the MVP of the Bluebonnet Bowl in 1975, defensive MVP. Tim Campbell, you might know his brother, Earl Campbell. Earl Campbell was the offensive MVP in the 1975 Bluebonnet Bowl. So a lot of people don't know that. They know about Earl Campbell winning the Heisman, being All-American, being, All-Pro, the Oilers and all that. What people don't realize, he had 2 younger brothers who were twins, Steve and Tim, and they both played at Texas. Tim was a little bit more decorated than Steve, but, when you have twins, that's something that happens. Well, Tim Campbell died of cancer, age of 68, in his home in Tyler, Texas. So Longhorn Nation is very sad. What a remarkable career. He was a 2-time All-Southwest Conference. He never made it to the pros. Like I said, he's only 5'11", weighed about 215. So, I mean, even in 1970 standards, he was considered smallish, but he had motor. He got off the ball quick, hit quarterbacks. I mean, he was lightning. So prayers go out to the Campbell family for their loss of Tim Campbell, the younger brother of Earl Campbell.
Okay, it's I didn't know he had 2 twin brothers.
What part of the state is Tyler in?
Northeast corner. It's up there kind of between Dallas and the Arkansas border.
Okay, because I had a good friend that's from Beaumont, and
Okay.
his cousin was Mel Farr. His first cousin was Mel Farr.
Okay. Yeah, Beaumont is further south. It's between Houston and the Louisiana border.
Oh, okay.
That's where you got Jamal Charles is from Beaumont.
Okay.
So yeah, who else from Beaumont? Earl Thomas is from Beaumont. But Beaumont at one time, Beaumont produced more NFL alumni than any other region in the country.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, Beaumont, Port Arthur, Orange is called the Golden Triangle. It's The armpit of Texas, it's very industrial, a lot of oil refineries and all that, but they play mean football there.
Okay.
Oh, the other thing I want to mention for both quarterbacks in the Super Bowl are Texas boys.
Yeah.
Actually, Pat Mahomes is from the Tyler area, a little town called Whitehorse, and then John Hurts is from Humble, which is in the Houston area. So both quarterbacks are Texan born.
Interesting.
Mr. Scott, you came in a little late, and I'm going to let you talk about this. It seems we have a new Mr. Massage in town.
Oh no!
Justin Tucker, there's 9 women that have come out on him, and of course his is all in the Baltimore area. Mr. Scott, a kicker. I mean, it ain't no $281 million here. A damn kicker. What's going on?
I hate to say it, but he's still a pro, and if he's a kicker, maybe the quality might be a little more bargain basement-y than Mr. Maside. So I don't really know. Is he going to strip clubs? Is he? Where is all this stuff coming from? Are you leaving yourself?
These are the massage parlor. As a matter of fact, they say now, they claim that he's been, barred for inappropriate conduct. The strip club the spa manager says they don't really know anything about it. But 9, Mr. Scott.
Well, I guess if I was a general manager now, I start to think about putting tariffs on these players. Behavior tariff. Hey, you got to focus on your job, brother. That's what you're getting paid for.
Yeah. So, Mr. Scott, who you taking here? You got the Chiefs giving the Eagles 1.5. You got to bet 120 to get 100 on the Chiefs, but you bet 100 to get 100 back. Under is 48.5. What are you thinking there, Mr. Scott?
Well, the line is the best bet going. I got to take Kansas City. That's a given. That's just a given. That's just like going against James King. That's just a given.
Okay.
But the under and over is a little scary. It's but in the big game, I'm going to take the over. In this game, I'll take the over.
All right. Okay, dope. You want to give us your final thoughts, Mr. Scott?
Yeah, I was just watching Timberwolves and Anthony Edwards. He almost scored about 50 tonight against Chicago Bulls, who've all these trades are going on in the NBA. And I'm not sure where this is heading after the All-Star break with all these trades. And I did go see the Timberwolves actually against Atlanta the other night, where they won. And I didn't recognize anybody on Atlanta. Trae Young wasn't even there. We were upset. We wanted to see Trae Young. And I didn't even realize that in that draft, Luka was traded for Trae Young. I didn't realize that Atlanta drafted Luka and traded him to Dallas for Trae Young. As I went through that, I thought, wow, that's really interesting, how that happened. So, no, I'm looking for, I guess, a good game. Hope it's a good game. And debating if I'm just going to stick around and watch it on the weather, but they're having a party with Paul Krause and I think, who else is going to be there? Sammy White. If Jim Marshall's there, I'm definitely going. But somewhere out in the woods and in the wintertime, they got bears and stuff out there for real. So.
What'd you say? What'd you say, Mr. Scott? For real? Huh?
For real.
They got real bears, huh? Y'all got real bears up there.
Real bears. So yeah, just hope it's a good game. We'll see what happens. We may make the drive out there.
Mr. Scott, what did you think about the Luka trade?
Well, those things seem to drop on the Lakers for some reason. I mean, they got Kareem, they got Wilt, but I mean, 25 years old for a guy at 32 years old, I don't know what to say about it. So there's some ulterior motives there. There's something. It's not what we see. It's what the underneath part of this thing is.
Well, they say it's what we see because they don't want a 280-pound point guard. You know, Luka got a little weight problem.
Well, I don't know. He's been effective, so he's young. He can turn that around, and the age difference. I don't know. AD's always hurt. You know, he's what do they call him? Mr. Suit. You know, sitting on the bench. You know, with his suit on, suit and tie.
Hey, they gave Kyrie an extension, so they must be expecting something.
Boy, I can't speak to this one right now. I have to check the fallout of this.
Okay, all right. So, did we get your final thoughts?
Yes.
Okay, Dave.
Go ahead.
I'm taking the Eagles here. I'm taking the Chiefs, and I'm gonna take the under.
All right. So for me, I wanted to mention something about Justin Tucker real quick.
Go ahead.
You know, he has $51 million in career earnings. So there's some moolah there to it's not in the Mr. Massage range, but still that's some moolah that is available for the taking there. I just hope that with that said, I just hope that before they punish him at all, that they make sure that they got the story right, that these aren't gold diggers or anything like that. And if it turns out that it's right, well, then he deserves everything that Deshaun Watson got. It should be no different. And now, unfortunately, if he takes a 2-year suspension, that's his career. He's basically done. But but I hope that they allow this to play out to ensure that they know whether these allegations are in fact true or not, before they take action. So for the picks, I'm gonna go against the house. I'm gonna take the Eagles.
Okay.
And I'm gonna do the under against my better judgment. I'm gonna take the under. Eagles in the under.
Okay. All right. Well, your final thoughts there, Dave.
And Dave, real quick before you go, Justin Tucker is literally a choir boy. He sings opera. He sings opera. Look at that. He's not bad either.
Before everyone, see, I'm rethinking things because he had an off year this year, and he would cross himself before every kick. And I was like thinking, well, he's having a bad year. Maybe he's looking to a higher power to help him with his kicks. But maybe he had something else on his mind that he was looking for. That just goes to tell you that no matter how good of a reputation you have, we never really know the full person. Yeah. And a lot of these sports personalities, I don't know that many. I've met a few professional athletes, but I don't really know that many professional athletes. But for my final thoughts, Friday night, I watched Penn State, who was ranked number 1 in the country, wrestle Iowa, that was ranked number 2, who's coached by Tom Brands. And Penn State pummeled Iowa. They pummeled number 2 30-8. But the story doesn't really end there, because there's a high school phenom named Bo Bassett. He's a junior in high school. And he wrestles for Bishop McCourt High School, which is in Johnstown, PA. It's like one of the top wrestling high schools in the country this year. And he was being recruited by all over. And he basically said, well, hey, I'm down to my final few colleges, and Penn State and Iowa were on it. And he waited until after that match was wrestled in order to announce that he was going to go to Iowa. So here's a hometown Pennsylvania boy going to Iowa, but part of the reason, $5 million in NIL money, and Penn State only ponied up about half that amount. So here's a junior in high school in a non-revenue sport, traditionally is a non-revenue sport, $5 million millionaire. Just like that. So it'll be interesting how he performs. I mean, he's considered, and then actually after he made his announcement, he was in the first round of a wrestling tournament. They're getting ready for the states, and he pinned his guy in 18 seconds. And so in order to qualify to be a sectional wrestler, you got to be a decent wrestler. And so his opponent was decent, but got decked in 18 seconds. So this Bo Bassett is really something.
It might have been fast count.
Yeah, but I don't consider this all bad, because we've talked before where one of the issues is that people have questioned whether Penn State has been too dominant, whether that's good for the sport. Similar to Alabama, Georgia, was the SEC too dominant for the sport? Well, now we see where the NIL money now has attracted this guy to go to another. He would have been a natural. He used to practice over at Penn State and with some of the Penn State coaches. And if there wasn't NIL, I have no doubt in my mind that's where he would be going to school.
Well, Iowa has some wrestling history. I mean,
yeah. Absolutely.
Dan Gable. I mean, come on. Yeah.
Absolutely. But for the last 10, 12 years, it's been Penn State. But Iowa has I think 20 national championships compared to 12 for Penn State.
Yeah.
But it's just the recent history, and but anyway, I just found it interesting, and I think that's where I still have mixed feelings about the NIL, but it's still getting the talent distributed around the schools. Because I have no doubt if NIL wasn't a factor, he would have been going to Penn State.
Oh, yeah, like you said, you got twice as much money,
Yep.
And a sport like wrestling. I mean,
everybody doesn't go pro. I mean, they don't all want to go to WWF. I mean, that's.
Well, there's a Texas guy, Bo Nickel. He wrestled for Penn State. He's originally from Texas. Their MMA is where a lot of them go. But there's like John Cena. He went the professional wrestling route. But MMA has become a place where the wrestlers go. But then also there's like the World Championships. There's also freestyle and Greco.
Yeah.
That doesn't really pay though, like MMA would pay.
No. Yeah, MMA right now. MMA. Well, I know it used to up until maybe the last 5 years, but I think within the last 5 years, MMA has proved to be the quickest way to get yourself paid.
Yeah. You didn't bring up Myles Garrett. I thought you were going to talk about Myles Garrett, James.
Well, he's a clown. But I did. Where do you think Myles Garrett fits, Dave?
Well, I mean, he's been in the league 8 years. I would not want him in the AFC with Baltimore or Cincinnati. I mean, if they trade him, he needs to go to the NFC, hopefully. But what I find ironic is him asking for the trade. What was in December, where Myles Garrett said he had put something out saying that he was asking the Browns to show him a plan to win in the near future. So obviously that was in December. So obviously he did not like the answer that he got.
Well, he knows that they can't get rid of Mr. Massage.
Yeah, but he was asking the team. He was asking, what's the plan for us to win?
Well, that's where it starts. If you don't have a quarterback, you have at least one of the best running backs in the league. You have a halfway decent wide receiver. You have a core there to start with. You have a good defense. So, I mean, what could they tell him? If the offense can't score, it doesn't matter too much what the defense does. You're losing you're losing games. What when you haven't scored 2 touchdowns?
Yeah, and I guess he did talk to LeBron James, because LeBron James had a similar issue where he left Cleveland before they won a championship, but then he came back and he won a championship.
Yeah, but when he came back, he had Kyrie, right?
I don't know who was on it. I just know he came back and I actually watched that game. I when they won their championship.
Yeah. Mr. Scott, what do you think about Myles Garrett? You guys might want to take him up there in Minnesota.
Yeah, he'd be good. I think he could fit in. I think defensive coach could do something with him. The guy they got from Alabama, the number 1 pick, he didn't really do much. Dallas, I can't call his name right now. His number 1 pick. So yeah, he'd fit real nice with this defense.
What do you think, Donna? Are you guys going to lose Parsons or what?
I don't know. That's a big question mark. I'm not sure what Dallas is going to do. Jerry Jones.
You got Mr. Schottenheimer back?
Yeah. Jerry Jones will probably trade Parsons and get a wide receiver. I mean, that's stuff he would do. But no, I hope we keep Parsons. I hope we draft some guys that can help on the defensive line a little bit. Get a couple more linebackers, secondary guys. That's going to need some offensive linemen as well. There's holes on both sides that we need to fill.
Yeah, most definitely.
But you build around Parsons. That's just a given.
Dave, any good news from the Monday meetings that you guys have?
Our town hall. No, the most what we did this past Monday is we talked about what were the biggest positions of need. Where did the Steelers need to prioritize in the draft? And we concluded, first and second round picks have to be defensive line and wide receiver. And it doesn't, it just depends on who the best available one is in terms of who's 1 and 2. And for the 3rd through 5th rounds, we were looking at running back and cornerback. Those are the other 2 positions of need. But we came to the conclusion that they got a lot of work to do. They have 17 players scheduled to be March 12th will become unrestricted free agents, which includes all 3 of the quarterbacks that were on the staff.
All right, what are you looking for in the draft there, Mr. Scott?
Well, they don't really have many picks. I mean, I think that's the big problem. They've kind of given up everything. Like I say, I don't think I don't even know if they might have a low one, and then maybe one other. So they're looking at doing some roster moves to get more active in the draft. But right now, I think they're just hoping McCarthy they can get another good year out of Aaron Jones. They're hoping, then make another run at this thing. I mean, they had 14-2, what have you. So I don't know. They might be looking for some defensive backs. I think that's what they made with. And I'm glad the defensive coach is still there because there was talk about him maybe getting a head coaching job, but I just don't think that's in the cards for Flores. It just doesn't really seem like. I don't know if he's been interviewed but he's staying put, so that's a good thing.
All right, guys. All right. Well, hey, let's get out of here. We managed to fill up our usual amount of time. Mr. Scott, always glad seeing you. And I got something for you the next time you come on. I bought a beautiful Knicks sweater just so you could, just to remind you of times gone by. All right, guys.
Appreciate
I'll see everybody next week.
Take care.
Good.
All right. Check your email, Mr. Scott. I'm gonna send you one tomorrow. No, about the other show.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, send it to me.
Yeah, I
I
definitely
got
will.
a couple of things going on with Black History Month. I'll be doing a talk Friday at a place, and I think I got a couple more talks I'm going to be giving before the end of the month. So, but I'm sure I can. I'm sure we can do that. Just let me know the schedule.
Okay. I saw you. You guys had a little thing on the 3rd.
Oh, with Don?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. All right, guys. Have a good one, Dave. We'll see you next week with all the calculations there, and we'll crown a winner.
All right. Yeah, I'm just gonna hang out here till the recording uploads.
Okay. Yeah, I might as well hang out for a minute too. Let me know when it uploads.
All right. Yeah, it's showing me we're still alive.
Not anymore.
Okay. Yeah, no, I like to